Good evening and welcome to everyone watching and everyone here live. This is 40 Days Ministries on October 25th. We are doing a recap session of our 142nd Friday Night Delight documented meeting, which was done on April 26, 2024. This is the eighth installment in the Seven Bowls of Wrath series. We're looking at the start of the third woe, where to do this properly, we have to consider that back in Revelation 11:14, we heard the third woe is soon to come. Here in Revelation 12, verse 12, we will see, "Therefore rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil has come down to you in great wrath, because he knows that his time is short." This is the announcement of the third and final woe. I'm expecting that the seven bowls of wrath are part of it. And when I made this doc, that was the expectation. Turns out it's correct. The third woe is kick-started when war in heaven takes place. Verse 13 shows us that the timing of the dragon's fall after war in heaven will be something to come. So while we were not sure before, here we are certain. When the dragon saw that he had been thrown down to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. But the woman was given the two wings of the great eagle, so that she might fly from the serpent into the wilderness, to the place where she is to be nourished for a time, and times, and half a time. This here convinces me now that the war in heaven is going to take place just before the Great Tribulation. Because when the devil, the dragon, is thrown down to earth, he's going to pursue the woman, which people might say, well, he does that now. He's been doing that since, Assyria, Babylon, Rome, Greece, all those times. But no. This pursuit of the woman is one that will result in the woman being given two wings of the great eagle, so that she might fly from the serpent into a wilderness to a place where she'll be nourished for 3.5 years, a time, 1 year, times plus 2 years, plus half a time. 1 plus 2 plus a half is 3.5. That hasn't happened yet. So this is quite good evidence to say that the devil is still given access and he will be kicked out in time. Now, again, people think, well, the devil got kicked out when he rebelled, but the verse 7, now arose war in heaven. That now means at that moment it happens. And that's when the devil gets kicked out. He was defeated, and the great dragon was thrown down. And when he was thrown down, when he saw that, when he realizes he's kicked out, that's when he chases the woman. So we are guaranteed here. The Great Tribulation will be started off by war in heaven, which kicks the devil out, and he's going to pursue Israel. The woman is Israel. We observe in these passages that the dragon pursued the woman. She was given two wings of a great eagle. She's going to escape to the wilderness, quote unquote, to be nourished. And here we're talking spiritually. Right now, Israel is not being nourished spiritually. Most of the pastors that go to Israel and try to make friends would be false teachers, because they have the largest congregations and the most financial resources to reach there, I guess. But it's allowed by God. This is his plan. Israel doesn't even believe in Jesus as the Messiah. So the rejection that caused them to suffer continues. The dragon, we know the dragon is Satan. We know the woman is Israel. We know this hasn't happened as yet. While Israel was persecuted, nowhere in history was Israel given the wings of a great eagle to flee to the wilderness to be nourished for 3.5 years. So this here is our guarantee it's still to come. Since we know it's going to happen, we can think, how is the devil and his crew going to feel about this? They're going to obviously be planning for it to overturn God's word. At least I think that's what they'll try. They'll try to prove God wrong. But while I might think like that if I was him, I'm not as smart and experienced as the devil, so maybe he has a better plan than I just came up with. Regardless of what he does, not only will he fail, he is going to play out everything exactly as God prophesies in the word. It's almost like a mockery of the devil. When I look at this and I see the woman who's given the two wings of the great eagle, I wasn't sure what this means. We'll do a little look at it in our next session. Here we're going to look at the dragon, the beast, and waters. In Bible Study 119, we had looked at water from the devil's mouth. And we wanted to know if that would tie into what we know about the beast out of the sea. Revelation 13:1. Let me go to that for you. I saw a beast rising out of the sea with 10 horns, 7 heads, 10 diadems or crowns on his horns, and blasphemous names on his heads. It's rising out of the sea. Revelation 17, I'll go to 17 for a sec. Verse 3. And an angel here, one of the special 7 who has the 7 bowls of wrath, an angel carried me away in the spirit, carried John away, not me, carried John into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was full of blasphemous names. And it had 7 heads and 10 horns. Same beast. 7 heads, 10 horns. This prostitute, back in verse 1, we can see one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters." She was seated on many waters. When we wonder what this is, the waters, don't doubt, friends, there is no guesswork here. And the angel said to me, "The waters that you saw where the prostitute is seated," which would also be where the beast came out of, "are peoples and multitudes and nations and languages." The same beast which we saw in chapter 13, the beast the prostitute is sitting on here in chapter 17 of Revelation, is the same beast in Daniel 7. And Daniel 7 talks about 4 winds of heaven churning up the sea. And out of that churning sea, 4 beasts come out. Those 4 beasts represent the same beast out of the sea in Revelation. The last of the 4 beasts that Daniel saw has 10 horns. In Revelation 13:5, I want to show you all 13:5. The beast was given a mouth, uttering haughty and blasphemous words, and it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. It was allowed. It didn't take authority, it was allowed. In Daniel 7:25, it says he will have the holy people in his hands for 3.5 years. Let me bring that up. We're referring to Daniel 7 a lot. Daniel 7, verse 2, "In my vision by night, behold, the 4 winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea, and 4 great beasts came up out of thee." So this is the churning of the sea and the beast coming out. All right. And the final beast had 10 horns, just like our beast, 10 horns. So keep that in mind. In Daniel 7:25, he shall speak. This here is the 4th beast. All right. The 4th beast. He shall speak words against the Most High. He shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change the times and the law, and they shall be given into his hand for a time, times, and half a time. 3.5 years. 42 months is 3.5 years. The sea beast is the system of nations that will bring the Antichrist to power. The devil here in our original text in Revelation 12, the devil here is going to try to overwhelm Israel. The serpent poured water like a river out of his mouth to sweep her away with a flood. What comes out of the devil's mouth is lies. These lies and the water will be all the people who live and believe his lies. The lies come through his mouth. And in John 8:44, let me remind you of something important in case people don't like to believe when preachers say stuff, or people don't like to test what preachers say. And you should always test what preachers say. I'm giving you the proof, so you know there's no doubt right now. John 8:44. You are of your father the devil. Guess who's talking here? And your will is to do your father's desires. That he, your father the devil, was a murderer from the beginning. He does not stand in truth, because there is no truth in him. When he, the devil, when he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Mr. Jesus is reminding us of the very obvious facts. The multitude that we will see would be the same society that the sea beast is going to come out from in Revelation 13 and 17:15, where the prostitute was sitting on the waters too. And I say this because the dragon is the devil. The devil is the father of lies. Out of his mouth come lies. The churning seas, the churning waters, we're told are the people, multitude, nations, and languages, diverse people. God is not the author of confusion. 1 Corinthians 14:33 tells us who God is. For God is not a God of confusion. It literally said so, but of peace. As in all the churches of the saints. The confusion that messes with the multitudes, that churns up the multitudes, would be the lies of the devil. And if you look at today's world, people who go around and skank themselves around, people who go around and self-mutilate, people who abuse their bodies with food or rum or cigarettes or vaping or drugs, they believe the lies. It's okay. You have one life to live. You're here for a good time, not a long time. All those lies come straight from the devil's mouth. That's why the churning waters would be the society and cultures that are built on the lies of the devil, which is why I call out our country, Trinidad and Tobago, as a country that is demonic, because our whole society is based on the lies of the devil. Because we have a wine and jam society. May the people of God stand up and say no. But they can't, because most of the people of God, quote unquote people of God, fake, they will go to church on Sunday, but for the carnival weeks, I'll say weeks because it's a lot of time, they'll find themselves in every possible fete they can. They lead up to Christmas and Christmas time. They will drink as much alcohol and rum and spend time with people who do the same to encourage everybody in celebrating the devil. In Revelation 12, he's going to pursue the woman. He's going to pursue Israel and persecute Israel to motivate the world to persecute her. This is happening right now when you think about it. Look at social media and the cries for save the terrorists of Gaza that a lot of people have. People were like, free Gaza, all these weeks. Suddenly there's a ceasefire But Gazans are getting killed by Hamas, and all the free Gaza people are silent. Why? Because they didn't want Gaza to be free. They wanted Israel to be stopped. And I know lots of people out there think Israel are terrorists and whatnot, Israel are killing innocents, but that's not true. Israel is defending itself after being surrounded by enemy nations, hostile enemy nations, and being forced to tolerate their nonsense, constant rocket fire, abuse of men, women, and children, incursions on its border regularly. That Israel is the only country that's not allowed to win a war. That's not my statement. That was Douglas Murray, and he was right. Now, in this chase, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed the river. This river is the river poured out from the serpent's mouth, right? The earth swallowed up that river. If the waters are lies and the earth absorbs and negates them, and there was a beast out of the earth, which was a false prophet, we have to figure out what this earth is. The water was identified. We read where it was. But I'm not sure what the earth is. And there's a possibility, I mean, the way I work it out, if the false prophet comes out of the earth, is a beast out of the earth in Revelation 13, right? Just to give you the idea. I saw another beast rising out of the earth. If the waters, more numerous than the land, would be the society, the earth, which is more solid than the waters, the earth could be the recognized church remnant. I'm just suggesting here. This is a guess. This is not an actual fact. I'm just suggesting. The earth could represent the church remnant which saved Israel by providing support and refuge. I'm not sure what else it could be. It could be something that I did not think of. So please don't quote and say, well, I said it. The earth is the church, so it has to be the church. No, no. It does make sense that the false prophet comes from a church, though. Right? We have people like Stephen Furtick and Joel Osteen. We have people like T.D. Jakes, Kenneth Copeland, Benny Hinn, people that are influential and well-known in society. Everybody loves Joel Osteen. He's false. He's a clown. He abuses theology. He throws Christianese in his nonsense to make ignorant people follow him. So the Antichrist could be somebody like that. I come from a church, so I'm a good guy. As the woman has gone off to be nourished for a time, times and half a time, that nourishment is, like I said, likely to be spiritual food that Israel has been craving, but resisting all these centuries, millennia even. Israel will be ministered to from the whole word of God, and they will heed it. Currently, Israel is lost and very foolish. But during the Great Tribulation, there will be a powerful outpouring of God's saving grace upon the nation of Israel. There will be the two witnesses preaching. There'll be the 144,000 preaching. And who knows who else preaching. There will be material available to people. Yes, that's why 40 Days is producing material and putting it out there. There'll be more effective people maybe putting out material. Israel will be saved. And remember, I believe it's Zechariah that talks about 2/3 of Israel going to be killed. The 1/3 remnant that remains will be saved. That's the end of our session. The Cooper's Corner for that day was where he said, "The Lord lavish his mercy upon us so that we may be his children. Great is the Lord and most worthy of praise, for none can ever fathom him." That year, 2024, April 26th. What day was that? Yeah, that session was on April 26th. We had some news stories. Israel hit an embassy in Iran on April 2nd. They admitted to killing World Central Kitchen Aid to shut down aid activity, but they were after, and that was an unintentional thing, it seems like. Syria's attack, Syria was, sorry, Iran's consulate in Syria was attacked and condemned by the UN Security Council. Senegal got a new president sworn in on April 2nd. That president in Senegal was in jail up to a few weeks before April 2nd, 2024. He joined that race because his mentor wasn't allowed because of his own conviction. In April, Russian targets were hit by Ukraine. Some targets as far as 1,200 kilometers from the border with Ukraine, which was a big move. The US passed a $90 billion aid bill to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and Pacific states. And the world was in turmoil at that time. Join us next time when we continue to do another recap session, when we go to Bowls of Wrath session number 9. Thank you to all who are here live and in person. Thank you very much to those of you who watched. And God willing, we'll meet again as we share his word. Have a great night. Goodbye.